Daf Kuf Nun Dalet Amud Aleph, right at the top. We learned previously that Rami Bar Chama said that if a person is mechamer, he leads his animal that's laden, he leads it and it causes it to transport the item, then he holds that you're chayiv b'shoigeg, you're chayiv b'chatas, and b'mezed you're chayiv skila. If a person doesn't have malacha on Shabbos, those are the punishments. B'mezed it's skila, shoigeg is chatas. He learned that from a chamer you have the same punishments. The Gemara is going to present two other versions of what he said. Razrid Masnahachi, he learns the following. Amar Rami Bar Chama, Hamachamer Achar Behemta B'Shabbos. If a person leaves a laden animal on Shabbos, B'Shoigeg ain't a chayiv chatas. B'Shoigeg he's not chayiv chatas, B'Mezed chayiv skila. So according to this version, B'Mezed there's a chayiv skila. But for Shoigeg, on Shoigeg, there's no chayiv chatas. On Shoigeg, there's no chayiv chatas because we have the Hakish Avodah Zarah. The prototype for a chayiv chatas is Avodah Zarah, and just like over there, he's chayiv, he does the ma'aseh. So too, for Shabbos, for the chayiv chatas, for Chil Shabbos, it's only if he himself does the ma'aseh, not if it comes about through his animal. But for Mezid, he says, for Mezid, there is a chiyuv of skila, because we have the hakish, loisas kamalach ata, and ubem techa. So therefore, just like when he does it, there is the Mezid, there's a chiyuv skila. Through his animal, there's also a chiyuv skila. Masiv Rava, he asked the following kasha. It said, we learned in the Brisa, we learned in the Mishnah rather, that it said, if a person is machal Shabbos with something that he's chayiv on for shogeg chatas, chayav also on his skila. So he says, if there's a chayiv chatas on shogeg, then b'mezid there's a chayiv skila. So let's be medayik that therefore ha'ein chayav and al shogeg chatas ein chayav al zdaina skila. So let's make a diuk that, and verkehrt, however, that if there is no chiyuv of chatas, there's no chiyuv skila. Now, according to this version, he's saying that chamer, there's no chiyuv chatas. But b'mezid, there is a chiyuv skila. Now, we see a relationship between shoigeg and mezid. Now, therefore, shouldn't we say that just like by shoigeg, if there is shoigeg with chatas, b'mezid, there's skila? Shouldn't we make a diuk and say and infer just the opposite? That if b'shoigeg there's no chatas, that means b'mezid there's no skila. And yet, he's saying that by mechaber, by shoigeg there's no chatas, and by mezid there is skila. He says, no. It doesn't say the reverse. It says, if there's shoigeg, there's a chatas, then b'mezid there's skila, but it doesn't say the reverse case. If there's shoigeg a chiyuv chatas, then b'mezid there be a chiyuv skila. But v'yesh davar she'ein chayav al shogeg chatas, but there's something that does not have b'shogeg chatas, v'hayam al zdayin skila. But nevertheless, there is a chiyuv skila b'mezid. Umayniu, and what is that? That's mechamer. The relationship goes only one way. If there's a chiyuv chatas b'shogeg, there's a chiyuv skila b'mezid. But it doesn't go the other way. You do have a case of mechamer where there's no chiyuv chatas b'shogeg, but there is skila b'mezid. Now we have a third version. Rava Achud Rav Mari Bar Rachel, Rava the brother of Rav Bar Rachel, V'amile Avua the Rav Mari Bar Rachel. And some say he was the father of that. So just as on a tangent, Lalish Basra, according to the second version, that Mari Bar Rachel, his father was Rava, Kasha had the Rav, Axel Rav Mari Bar Rachel, Umanya before the Baal. It's Kasha, the Maisa that we had, that we know that Rav made a point to appoint Mari Bar Rachel to be one of the officers in Babel. The general rule is, so when you make an appointment, someone in an official position, to be a dayan, or etc., a king, a dayan, an officer, it has to be a yid. you can't appoint it as to be from a Nochri. Now, Mori Bar Rochel, he was called after his mother's name. So according to the first version, that his father was a Nochri at the time that of his conception, he was a Nochri. So then we understand why Rav had to make a special point to appoint him as an officer, because he would have been disqualified because his father was a Nochri, and therefore Rav said, nevertheless, he's kosher because his mother was Israelis. So we understand that if his father was a Nochri, we understand that Rav had to make a special point, and he had to appoint him to be, because otherwise they wouldn't, because they would have disqualified him because his father was a Nochri. But Rav Paskin, he said, no, nevertheless, since his mother is Israelis, he's kosher. But according to the second version, that his father was Rava, that his father was a Yid, what was the issue? There should have been no issue over there. So that's a kosher. That's a side point. So the Gemara says, Dilma, Trey Mori Bar Rachel. The Gemara says, maybe there was two Mori Bar Rachel, meaning the one where Rava had to appoint him because they opposed his appointment. That's where a case, that was a Mori Bar Rachel, where the father was a Nachri. But this over here, in this case over here, was talking about where according to the second version, this Mori Bar Rachel, his father was a Yid, was Rava. So he said a different version. So Havamasal HaShmaitza Mishmeder Rav Yochanan, he said over the Shmaitza in the name of Rav Yochanan, Lifter. And he said in both cases they're potter, both Shoigig, by Mechamer, both by Shoigig and by Mezid, in both cases you're potter. Amar Rav Yochanan Mechamer Achabem to B'Shabbos potter miklum. He says they're potter completely. B'Shoigig loy mechayiv chatas. B'Shoigig there's no chiv chatas. Huksha kol atara kula l'avodah zarah. So b'Shoigig there's no chiv chatas because of the hektish to avodah zarah, and by avodah zarah, just like by avodah zarah, he's chayiv where he himself does the ma'isa. So that's the prototype for chiv chatas. So too, Gabi Shabbos also, there's only a chiv chatas if he himself does the ma'isa. B'mezid nami loy mechayev. B'mezid is also not chayev. Why is that? Dislan hamachalas Shabbos b'davar shechayev melashigig also chatas v'al zadoina skilo. So it says if you machal Shabbos with something that you chayiv v'shagig chatas inside mezid skilo. So we see the relationship between shagig and mezid. Ha'ein chayev melashigig also chatas ein chayev melashigig skilo. So if there's no chiv chatas b'shagig, then there's no chiv skila b'mezid. So he does learn that the relationship goes both ways, and therefore, if there's no chiv chatas b'shagig, there's no chiv skila b'mezid. But lav nami loy mechayiv. There's not even a chiv lav. There's not even malchus for the lav. Now, even though there is a loisa say in the Torah not to do with melocha with your behemah, but there's no malchus. Why is that? Because the havlei lav shenitin lasharas mitzvahs besan. It's a lav where the lav is also used as an ashara for mitzvahs besan. The general rule is that you don't punish ein oinshim melam v'kein izer. That we don't punish unless the Torah gives a warning and says don't do this. It's a lav is a warning, and it mentions a punishment. Now there is a machlekes, but one mandomer holds that a lav shenitin lasharas mitzvahs besan, if the lav is also needed to use as an ashara from mitzvahs besan, then even in a case where for some reason there is no mitzvahs besan, there was no hasra or something of that nature, then we still do not give malchus. Even though there is lamaisa not going to be a mitzvahs besan in a particular case, nevertheless, there still is no malchus, because we say that the ikar of this lav was given, the ikar of this hazhara rather, was given for the punishment of mitzvahs besan. So therefore, you don't really have an azhara for malchus. Now again, there's no punishment unless there's an azhara. An azhara, a warning, that's used for this mitzvahs besan, we say it's primarily for the mitzvahs besan. So therefore, even in a case where lamaisa there's not going to be a mitzvahs besan, but we don't end up giving malchus either. So therefore, over here by mechamer, we say that it's the same lav of loisasa malacha, whether it's you or your animal. It's the same. Don't do any malacha. So therefore, the ikar of the lav is for the person, for the misas bezin. So therefore, even a case by mechamer where there's no misas bezdin, and he holds Rav Yochanan holds there's no misas bezdin, but there won't be malchus either, because the ikar of the lav is for the misas bezdin. So therefore, in the case of mechamer, he holds there's no chatos because we compare it to Vodah Zorah. So he has to be a maisa where he doesn't. And if there's no chatos b'shoigeg, there's no skila b'mezin. Now, even though there's no skila b'mezin, but there's no malchus either because it's a lav shenitin l'hasaras misas bezdin. So therefore, there's no malchus. V'chol lav shenitin l'hasaras misas bezdin ain't like him in love. There's no malchus. Now it is a machlokes, but even according to the man damer, it says loikin. The filu man damer loikin. Still, he would be moida that in this case there is no malchus. Why is that? Because lichtav rachmana leisasa kol malach uvem techa. The Torah could have said, "Don't do any malacha and your animal." Atah. Why does it say atah lamali? It says it splits it up. It splits it between you, loisasa makol malacha, ata ovem techa. So why does it say you and your animal? And that's to indicate that they're different. They're not the same. So lamali, ata lamali, hu niu de mechayev, behem taloi mechayev. It's coming to indicate that there's a difference. That for the person he has the einish. He gets the einish. Then you, Ato, you have the einish. But for your animal, it's not that way. There is therefore no punishment. So the Ata is to indicate that the behema, if it's done through behema, if you're mechamer, that there's no einish in that case.